Vice Motherboard released a story the other day talking about last stages of desperation inside Tulsa's courtship of Elon Musk. So this is a pretty long article in Vice. They did an open records request and got all the emails between the city and like Elon Musk and Tesla about their pitch to get Tesla's new Gigafactory that ended up going to Austin, Texas. Like in some ways I feel bad for Tulsa because like you're gonna get this like kind of bad rap out of this, but in the other breath, like have some self-respect. Like you don't have to beg these guys to come here. Like there are other ways to do economic development that isn't like embarrassing yourself and giving away the farm and doing all of this stuff. So anyway, it's definitely an article worth checking out. I think it speaks to a lot of psychoanalysis that I think we all do on Oklahoma and Oklahomans. It's also not a great look for the George Kaiser Foundation because like they're extremely prominent in this. They designed the slide deck and just begged
They
Elon
might as
Musk
well
to
have
come
offered
here.
to give him a blowjob to come to Oklahoma. Like, what is happening?
Is bad. The only people in this I think come out looking good and like moderate chances they get fired are the city employees of Tulsa because they're emailing each other being like, we don't have a chance. Like, what are we doing? This is embarrassing. Like, they at least had the self-respect to be like, maybe we shouldn't beg this like entitled billionaire to like love us. Like, maybe we should just like ourselves. And, but they were really the only ones. I mean, everyone else just like rolled out the red carpet for this guy and just did the most debasing begging you've ever seen.
I mean, oh wow. So we said this was the mayor of Tulsa, correct?
I mean, it was the mayor of Tulsa, the chamber, the George Kaiser Family Foundation. I mean, just the Tulsa elite got together and did a lot of begging is what it comes down to.
It's just weird for Oklahoma to like want to push for a Tesla factory because obviously Tesla is electric cars. They don't run on gas, and we are a very gas-centered state, and so it's really only the economic aspect of it. But it's like we don't like he doesn't want to come here. We don't have really any green initiatives. We don't do any of the right things, and like it says in the article, Tulsa just isn't a cool place to be. It's not a place where people come to spend their time. Like, nobody takes a week vacation to Tulsa. Like, for what? For why? It's just not, it's not it.
It's just so hilarious. Literally, what you just said. Like, this doesn't even oxymoron as fuck.
Yeah, then they also leaned into the, Native and Black community trying to use that as like we are, culturally.
And that right there is offensive because let me tell you something. I go to Tulsa all the time. I'm in Tulsa maybe anywhere from 1 to 5 times a week. Like, I'm always in Tulsa. I'll be in Tulsa tomorrow. And I took someone with me who had never been to Tulsa before to Greenwood over the weekend. And it just really dawned on me that this city tries to capitalize on the pain and trauma that they've caused the Black community, and they don't want to give the descendants or the survivors reparations. There literally is nothing reminiscent of Black Wall Street on Greenwood except this goddamn mural. There's a couple murals, you know. They built that museum that only serves the white people and the elite. As a matter of fact, I was a part of a group, Taz. We boycotted that museum when they opened with the descendants of Greenwood because this doesn't make any sense. Like, now y'all want to use that as a pawn to your advantage. Like, fuck off, dude. The mayor of Tulsa is the descendant of slave owners. Right. Fuck off, dude.
It's so the baseball field that's in Tulsa, it hasn't always been where it is. It's right next to Greenwood now.
Yeah.
But if you know the history of the Tulsa Race Massacre, you'll know that all of the black people that were left alive during the massacre, they took them to the baseball field and the fairgrounds, and they had to wait for a white person to come and vouch for them before they were allowed to leave. So to build the new baseball field with like it's literally walking distance away from Greenwood. Like that is
It's
just
on Greenwood and
a
Archer.
bad call. Yeah, it's they try to do the right things to make themselves look
I
better,
mean,
but it's
and even still to this day, I literally had to go to Tulsa last year sometime because there was a business owner named Tori who, throughout COVID, her business was struggling. And, I believe she's a descendant of the race massacre. And they literally were like, fuck you. You can't afford to pay your rent this month. Like, we're going to kick your business off of Greenwood, where your family literally came from and has owned this space, had this space forever. Like, still to this day, y'all are shitting on the black community and the indigenous community and, like, whatever.
But it makes a good slide in the slide deck to Elon Musk. It's like, yeah. I mean, it's the whole problem with how our system works.
I'm curious
we'll
as to what part where they wanted to put this business in Tulsa, because Tulsa is still segregated.
Yes.
yeah, North Tulsa still doesn't. I think there's one grocery store that's kind of like the market on East Point that they've built within the last 3 to 5 years. But the majority of people in North Tulsa are buying their groceries from like Family Dollar. The same thing that we see on the east side here in Oklahoma City is the same thing that's happening on the north side of Tulsa.
Yep.
So,
and the amount of money they would want to give Musk or Tesla to come here is just like astronomical.
Build a grocery store.
Yeah, exactly. Like way cheaper to just invest in your community and get them the things they need to survive and thrive than beg some, apartheid billionaire benefiting guy.
Can we just abolish Elon Musk?
Yeah, he's the worst.
I'm also just gonna say, like, we don't have the technological educational background to be able to support the entire work that he's trying to do.
yeah, we're like last in education, but we want to have like a brand new like state of the art. It's not there.
The whole reason why Austin can do it is because it's like a Silicon Valley for its region. You don't even need to be in college to have enough understanding of coding and engineering to be able to do this. People do this in their spare time. And that's because they receive a great educational background from where they're coming from. Because Texas actually spends money on their people, regardless of the situation, because there's value to that. When big companies want to be able to show up in your backyard, at least they want to see what they can get out of the people. Like with Amazon, right? They tried doing this in New York. At least New York has that kind of a situation going on. Oklahoma doesn't have that going on.
I mean, Elon Musk would literally have to come and bring his company and then bring all the staff because we don't have them.
Right.
Like,
Yeah, and that's the challenge that we're going to continue to have until we invest more appropriately in education, until we home grow our people to be able to do these sorts of things. So anyway, fancy slide deck, all this stuff they did. It obviously it didn't work, and I think if I remember correctly, reading through some of the emails that the city sent, and they're all in this Vice article if you want to find it, is. Like they knew that I think in the end none of it worked exactly for the reasons everyone knew it wouldn't. Tesla picked Austin not because it would save them money or provided some inherent advantage, but because, as Musk put it, quote, key members of the team that would need to move to Austin was their top pick, to be totally frank. So I mean. And some of the people argued that Tulsa was just being used to pit against Austin to get a better deal down there. So anyway, it's just an embarrassing thing all around. It's why we shouldn't chase these sorts of projects. Stitt went and found Canoe somewhere. I mean, in all likelihood, that's going to end up being just a boondoggle because Canoe is potentially not even a real company in the sense of has a product that anyone's going to ever be willing to buy. So anyway,
And it's also, I just thought of this, like, it's also really funny that we want to bring a car company down here to make cars whenever we don't even have the state infrastructure for that. Like, the state is not even made for cars. We don't even have the capacity to deal with the cars on the roads that we have already. Like, y'all are literally dumb, bro. That is the quote of the day, the word of the day. Y'all dumb.
Yeah, but they still have the gathering in place. High fives all around. Yeah.
Okay, hold on. This article says Tulsa was a serious underdog at 5 to 10% chance for Tulsa. You're not a serious underdog if you're at 5 to 10% chance. That means they're not picking you.
Yeah. Yeah.
They're not.
You are living in a false reality constructed by your own ego about how great Tulsa is.
Yeah.
Don't get me wrong. I love the people in Tulsa. I don't like whoever the hell is in charge of this shit in Tulsa. Like, that is ridiculous. God.
Yeah. I mean, they hired consultants. Anyway, it sounds crazy. Hopefully people learn their lesson and like learn to invest in themselves and learn to, build from the bottom up. But I'm skeptical, but we'll see.
That's really funny. I actually I just realized when I was in Tulsa like last week that now they've been putting up these little charging units for people to charge their electric cars. I'm like, is that for this? Because that's hilarious. I'd never seen that before until like last week.
What's Tulsa? There's even a part in the article where somebody advocated that we could change the name of Tulsa to Tesla really easily.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
Okay, but at
change
the end
the
of this
name.
Vice article, they drop all 938 pieces of communication.
Yeah, no, it's all there.
This
and
is
Tulsa
crazy.
people have been furiously control F-ing it to figure out who said what. Thanks for watching our video. Please give it a like and hit that subscribe button for more content. If you want to engage with us, follow us on Facebook, Twitter, Twitch, and Instagram.